Welcome to Witch Hunt Victim Stories. I'm Josh Hutchinson. Today we begin to look at the lives and trials of the 9 victims of the Salem Witch Trials who were executed in September of 1692. In this episode, I'll tell you about Wilmot Redd of Marblehead. Wilmot was the wife of Samuel Redd, a fisherman. They lived next to what is now known as Redd's Pond in Marblehead, near Old Burial Hill. Wilmot was accused of witchcraft on May 26, 1692, when George Herrick made a statement that she had bewitched Mary Walcott, Ann Putnam Jr., and Mercy Lewis. A complaint was filed against her and several others on May 28th by John Walcott and Joseph Holton. The complaint specified that Wilmot Redd, Martha Carrier, Elizabeth Fosdick, Sarah Rice, Elizabeth Howe, John Alden, William Proctor, John Flood, Mary Toothaker, Martha Toothaker Emerson, and Arthur Abbott had used witchcraft against Mary Walcott, Abigail Williams, Mercy Lewis, Ann Putnam, and others of Salem Village. Magistrates issued arrest warrants, and Wilmot was arrested by Constable James Smith. She was examined at Ingersoll's in Salem Village on May 31st. Quote, "When this examinant was brought in, Mercy Lewis, Mary Walcott, and Abigail Williams fell into fits. Mercy Lewis said, 'This woman hath pinched me a great many times.' Mary Walcott said, 'This woman brought the book to her.' Ann Putnam Jr. saith, 'She never hurt her, but she hath seen her once upon Mercy Lewis and once upon Mary Walcott the last fast day.' Elizabeth Hubbard said this examinant had brought the book to her and told her she would knock her in the head if she would not write. Ann Putnam said she brought the book to her just now. Elizabeth Booth fell into a fit, and Mary Walcott and Ann Putnam said it was this woman afflicted her. Susanna Sheldon was ordered to go to the examinant, but was knocked down before she came to her, and being so carried to said Redd in a fit, was made well after said Redd had grasped her arm. Elizabeth Hubbard dealt with after the same matter. This examinant was bid by the magistrates to look upon Elizabeth Hubbard, and upon the examinant's casting her eye upon said Hubbard, she the said Hubbard was knocked down. Abigail Williams and John Indian, being carried to the examinant in a grievous fit, were made well by her grasping their arms. This examinant, being often urged what she thought these persons ailed, would reply, 'I cannot tell.' Then being asked if she did not think they were bewitched, she answered, 'I cannot tell.' And being urged for her opinion in the case, all she would say was, 'My opinion is that they are in a sad condition.' In depositions written after the examination, Mary Walcott, Elizabeth Hubbard, and Ann Putnam Jr. claimed that they were for a considerable time afflicted by a woman which told them her name was Redd and that she came from Marblehead. Mary Warren said that she had not been afflicted by Wilmot, but that she had seen Wilmot afflict Mary Walcott, Abigail Williams, Elizabeth Booth, Elizabeth Hubbard, and Ann Putnam during her examination by the magistrates. In September, Wilmot was charged with allegedly afflicting Elizabeth Hubbard and Elizabeth Booth. On September 13th, a summons was issued for witnesses to testify in Wilmot's trial, which was to take place on the 14th. The grand jury returned the indictment for afflicting Elizabeth Booth ignoramus, meaning there was insufficient evidence to take the case to trial. However, the same grand jury found evidence enough to try Wilmot for afflicting Elizabeth Hubbard. Charity Pittman testified, quote, that about 5 years ago, Mrs. Sims of the town, having lost some linen, which she suspected Martha Lawrence, the girl which then lived with Wilmot Redd, had taken up, desired the deponent to go with her to Wilmot Redd's, and demanding the same, having many words about the same, Mrs. Sims told her that if she would not deliver them, she would go to Salem to Mr. Hathorne and get a special warrant for her servant girl, upon which the said Redd told her in my hearing that she wished that she might never urinate nor defecate if she did not go, and some short time after the deponent observed that the said Mrs. Sims was taken with the distemper of the dried bellyache, and so continued many months during her stay in the town, and was not cured while she tarried in the country. Sarah Dodd and Ambrose Gale agreed that they had heard Wilmot threaten Charity this way. Now, what their testimony had to do with the affliction of Elizabeth Hubbard, for which Wilmot Redd was being tried, is not clear, but in effort to show that she had bewitched someone else is what they were. Now, Wilmot Redd was found guilty and was hanged on September 22nd, 1692, along with 7 others who had been convicted of witchcraft. Mary Esty, Martha Corey, Ann Prudiater, Margaret Scott, Alice Parker, Mary Parker, and Samuel Wardwell. Giles Corey had been pressed to death with stones 3 days earlier. In 1710, Wilmot Redd's family did not petition for or receive restitution, despite the formation of a committee to review such requests. In 1711, Wilmot was not included in the exoneration and reversal of attainder of many of the others who were convicted. She was left out along with Alice Parker, Bridget Bishop, Susanna Martin, Ann Prudiater, and Margaret Scott. And in 1957, she was not named in an extension of the exoneration, but she was considered at that time to be included in the phrase, one Ann Prudiater and certain other person. In 1992, on the 300th anniversary of the witch trials, memorials were commemorated in Salem and Danvers, and you can visit those today. In 1998, a cenotaph was placed in Old Burial Hill Cemetery in Marblehead in honor of Wilmot Redd, as the whereabouts of her remains are unknown. In 2001, Wilmot Redd was finally exonerated along with Alice Parker, Bridget Bishop, Susanna Martin, and Margaret Scott. And in 2017, Proctor's Ledge Memorial was dedicated at the site of the hangings. Thank you, have a great today, and a beautiful tomorrow.